You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
This episode is sponsored by Horizon Studios. If you enjoy this podcast, it would mean so much to us if you'd be willing to take 30 seconds to do these tiny things.
First, can you please follow or subscribe to Self Care Club?
Following the pod helps you because you'll never miss an episode, and it helps us because you'll never miss an episode.
So to do this, just go to the Self Care Club show page on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow.
This is the most important thing for the pod. And while you're there, if you'd be willing to give us a 5-star review, we would be so grateful.
Hello everybody, I'm Nicole Goodman.
And I'm Lauren Mishcon, and welcome to your weekly Wellness Roundup show. We're bringing you all the happenings in the world of self-care. We've got TikTok trends, wellness news, what's going up, what's going down, TV, book, recommendations.
Everything, you name it, we are going to talk about it. There is nothing out of
our realm.
Out of
the box, out of the blue,
out of our mouths. There's nothing.
Where are you going with this
no
sentence?
words that I can remember.
Okay.
There is nothing that I can remember due to menopause. That's what I was going to say.
How are you?
I'm menopausal. How are you? How are you? How are you?
I am discombobulated.
What's going on? You are not yourself.
I am not myself.
You know, it's not on because it is my job to not be myself.
Yeah.
And you are the one that holds us together. So the roles have reversed today and I'm going to do a sterling job.
Okay,
I'm here
great.
to catch.
Thanks. Well, I had an argument with my physiotherapist. He's a young Italian man. The conversation went as follows. I'm going to put some needles in your bum. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not doing that. I don't want you to and I won't let you. Yes, I am. Lie down. Then he basically just kind of pulled my leggings down, stuck the needles in, and I screamed. And then he left the needles in there. And then he was like, while they're in there, I'll work on your shoulder. And then I screamed some more. And then I said to him, would you believe that I had 3 children, won £9 with no pain relief? And he said, no, I wouldn't. And then I was like, that is horrendous. You have to stop putting your thumb there. The pain is so bad. And he was like, no, just breathe through. Just breathe through. Honestly, it was worse than labour. And then I cried. It was so bad. It was so bad. And my kitchen's covered in plastic because it's being redecorated, so I can't get in my kitchen. And I have a problem with the hot water in my house. Like, generally, I'm very discombobulated, Nicole. That is my problem this week. And I'm in pain.
Just go with it.
Yeah. I mean, go with all of it?
Just go with it. Just go with. Head with it. Lean in, I would say. Lean in.
Lean in. I've had to move every item in my kitchen into my living room. Poor Barker doesn't know what the fuck is going on because his water bowl's not there and, he's very confused. And I've got a lot of Polish men in my house and a lot of plastic, a lot of paint fumes.
Okay.
Good. That's how it's going.
Brilliant. Okay. Well,
next week it'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll still be menopausal, but you will not have your kitchen in plastic. And I hope that you won't go and see the physio again. I actually introduced you to this physio and I don't go to this physio anymore.
Now
he's hardcore.
Yeah, no shit. Anyway.
No, I can't have him digging things into my... I've had that.
It wasn't even like wearing good knickers.
No,
do you know what I mean?
No, but he puts them into such a way, because obviously I've got a problem with my lower back.
Yeah.
So I would literally sit there for half the session with my arse hanging out.
Well, hello, I had my whole right bum cheek exposed with needles and a lamp in it.
And he starts having a conversation with you as if your bum cheek isn't hanging out.
Yeah, but then you have to carry on with the conversation, because otherwise you have to just go, hello, you're looking at my bum and putting needles in it.
As if my bum cheek is not hanging out. But here we find ourselves.
But can I just say, not only is my bum cheek hanging out, but I'm also lying on the bed and my bra's off. So I'm I'm face down, but I'm obviously topless and my bum's hanging out. So basically the only thing that's covered is my legs and my feet. I've got socks.
Do you got no top on?
Nothing, because of my shoulder. So
Did he put the heat on the acupuncture?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I've
that's
got
awful.
a heat lamp
And then
on.
when he pulls them out, it's even worse.
So I'm basically completely naked apart from my shins and
Yeah.
my feet.
And he's this very small, very strong Italian man.
He is surprisingly strong.
He's very slight.
Good Lord, his thumbs. I said to him, I feel like this is a medieval torture chamber and I'm not enjoying it.
You're not meant to enjoy it, though.
It was one of the most unpleasant hours that I can remember in my lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah. But that is the thing, isn't it? It's like you're basically naked, but you're just having a whole chat.
As if you're not naked.
As if you're not naked. What's that about?
Someone once told me a story. When they went to their physio. She'd never been to this guy before, and it was another, when I've been to every physio and every osteopath going. And she said, I walked into his office and I basically just got undressed because that's what I used to do with my last osteopath. And he was writing notes and he turned around and he said, no, you may get dressed.
Oh my God.
So she was sat there, like willingly, had undressed into her bra and knickers, and he basically told her to get dressed. That's more mortifying than the right bum cheek.
But also I love the false modesty thing, right? So he like holds up a towel so I can take off my top to be in my bra. And then it's only when I'm lying face down, he undoes the bra. But it's like, what's with the towel? Like, what's that about? You know, like when you're going to go for a...
Well, how else are you going to take the top off?
Now I literally just stand in the room and I just take it off because...
Right.
I don't need him to hold a towel up in front of me while I take the sweatshirt off because then I'm in the bra anyway. It's so weird. You know,
No, because then you lie down on your front.
yeah, but he's still going to see me in my bra before I
Not
lie
the
down.
fat bit.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's like when you go to the gynecologist and then they pull
Leave the room for you to get undressed.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
leave the room and you're like, but you're about to like shove
inspect
the
me.
whole thing up my vag. So like, why do I care if you see me take my jeans off? I just don't care. And then they take too long. And then you like have to fold your clothes into the neatest pile ever on the chair. Don't you? Everyone does
They
that.
always take too long. And then you're like, am I in the right position? Shall I just, what do I do? And then you have that sort of piece of paper over you, don't you? And you're sort of like
piece of paper.
fiddling with it. It's never quite big enough.
The
and you're like,
modesty piece of paper.
Yeah, but I'm always
over-
pleased for the piece of paper.
over the pelvis.
Yeah. And then I'm like, do I take my knickers off? Do I not take my knickers off? And then you're just lying there without your knickers on and you're like, should I knock on the door and tell them I'm ready? Like,
Can I
how
tell
does this
you
work?
the worst thing ever, right? I was very, very early pregnant with one of the kids. I can't remember which one it was now. And so when you're that early pregnant and they're doing a scan, they have to do an internal scan because it's too early to show on the jelly on your tummy. So they do it with like a probe, this like big, long, huge willy probe thing. They put a condom on it and then they shove it in and then they can see what's going on in your uterus. Anyway, so the doctor's like doing the scan, puts the thing in, and then his phone rings, and then he left the room. He left the room.
He left the probe in.
He left the probe in,
and then left the room.
left the room for 20 minutes. Meantime, I've got this nurse who will not shut up, standing next to the bed, rabbiting on at me. I'm just thinking, I just want to know if this very little fetus is alive, dead,
That's
okay, not okay. I know.
outrageous.
And then he came back in and started telling me that it was all about a parking issue that he was dealing with. I was like, okay, this is great. Now, do you want to like tell me what's going on?
That's terrible.
I know,
Should we
I
get on
wasn't
to
impressed.
some wellness news? What's
Yeah.
going on in the world of self-care?
You're not going to like this, Nicole.
Go
You're
on.
not going to like it.
What is it? What is it? What am I not going to like?
Scientists pour scorn on mushroom coffee.
No.
Yes.
No, I will not have it. Me and Lion's Mane are best friends, even though I haven't taken it in weeks.
The UK's demand is growing for beverages made from fungi, but experts dismiss innovations as health products you don't need. Britons are embracing this alternative morning pick-me-up as mushroom mania sweeps the
Mushroom
high
mania.
street.
I love that.
With the food industry eager to cash in on demand for functional foods that promise extra health benefits, medicinal mushrooms are turning up in hot drinks, supplements, and even beer. Holland & Barrett says that searches on its website for functional mushrooms are up 50% on a year
Jesus.
ago.
Jesus.
But recent investigation by Which put the products in the category of health products you do not need. There isn't enough evidence yet to suggest they work, and the vast majority do not have authorised health claims in the UK. The consumer champion concluded of products made from mushrooms including reishi, lion's mane and chaga.
Oh, no, I disagree. I'm sorry,
Well-
I disagree. I know I'm not a scientist. Shocking, I know. But I find, now that I'm saying it, I don't know why I haven't been taking them, I find they make the most massive difference. James always says they make you even say they make a massive difference.
Well, the experts say that many people feel better when they switch to a mushroom blend, not because of a fungi feel-good effect, but because they generally contain less caffeine, with a large
No.
section of the population very sensitive
No.
to caffeine.
No, I need a buzzer.
They're calling it snake oil. They are calling
No.
it snake oil.
Who's
on radio.
they? Who's they? Who are these scientists? Name and shame them.
Professor Nicholas Money.
Well,
he is a
Nicholas Money-
mycologist. That is a mushroom expert at Miami University.
Oh, he's the mushroom expert.
Yep, he told a recent episode of BBC Radio 4's Sliced Bread programme that it was complete BS.
But this is just one person's opinion. It doesn't mean he's right.
He says, show me the evidence.
Show me the money.
Yep. So there you
What do you
have
mean,
it.
show me the evidence? There's loads of evidence.
He says the bottom line with all these products is they don't harm consumers, but the placebo effect is so powerful. If someone
No.
does feel better, go for it.
Do you believe this?
I don't know. But I too
This is the only
would like to
person
see
that's
evidence.
ever come out and said, there is evidence.
Well, it's their evidence, isn't it? It's not objective evidence. It's evidence as proven by the mushroom companies. So you can't call that objective.
No, it's not objective. That I will take.
It's like when studies are done on how amazing blueberries are for you, but they're done by the blueberry grower.
It's like that documentary about veganism. It was all about being it was pro-vegan. So you're only going to get one side of the argument of why you should be vegan, but actually you're only giving me one small area of the argument and I need the full picture.
But when you're selling anything from a blueberry to a mushroom tea, you're always going to present the evidence that shows your product in the best light, aren't you? That's never going to be objective scientific evidence. It could be snake oil.
It's not snake oil. It's not, because I've been taking them for too long. I will not have it. No. I will throw my toys out of the pram. I am not having it.
Okay.
I'm going to, it's anecdotal as well. You ask 10 people that take mushrooms and I'll guarantee all 10 will say, yes, I have had a positive effect. And that is not placebo.
You know, the only person I know who hasn't had a positive effect was my dad. I really thought it would help him. And he was like, meh. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not using him as like a study of mushrooms not working, but I have noticed that everyone who takes them really likes them.
I'm really
He
sorry.
doesn't.
I'm really sorry. No disrespect to Russ, because I really like Russ.
Yeah.
But I personally think he is of the wrong generation. He is. They're not going to buy into the whole mushroom thing.
Your mum actually was taking some mushroom chocolate and she didn't rate it, and
That's
neither
what I'm
did your
saying.
dad.
That's what I'm saying. No, my dad didn't take it.
No, but I asked your dad, how were the effects? And he said he wasn't seeing any difference in her.
He did say that. But
Yeah.
they are all of the same generation, aren't they? Russ, Tony and Benita.
They are.
They are. So maybe, no, I'm not having it. No, I will not have it.
Okay, let's move on.
I like my lion's mane.
I know you do, and you can keep taking it.
It's not placebo. It's just not. You're right. I didn't like that story.
Let's move on to
Okay.
wellness trends.
Come on then. This week we are sponsored by Notion.
Why do we love Notion? Because it brings our ideas to life. It's like having access to tomorrow's tools today by combining all our research, scripts and notes into one simple space with the added power of AI built right inside, not a separate AI tool or browser tab.
I used it the other day to plan all our social content for the next 3 months. It's made what's usually a really long, daunting task super quick, simple and streamlined, leaving us with more time and energy to focus on what truly matters, which is bringing self-care to the listeners and less stress for us.
Notion is a place where any team can write, plan, organise and rediscover the joy of play, and the Notion AI turns that knowledge into action. It can answer any question in seconds, summarise your meeting notes and keeps you completely organised. If you can think it, you can make it. It's become an integral part of our podcasting toolkit and we're calling it self-care.
Try Notion for free when you go to notion.com/selfcareclub.
That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/selfcareclub, and start turning ideas into action. And when you use our link, you're supporting our show.
Notion.com/selfcareclub.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Mindful gardening. Isn't all gardening mindful?
No, it's a new kind of gardening.
Snore fest. Go on, you're going to read it out.
It's just
I'll
about...
guarantee
I'm
at
going
the
to
end,
make it
I'll
short.
guarantee that at the end, I still find it a snore fest.
It's just about being present in your garden space.
Exactly.
You don't... That's it. You don't even have to weed. You don't even have to do any gardening.
Yeah, I'm
going to
tell you something
Be
now.
in silence. You could do it. You could do this in your garden. You could just be silent in your green space, focusing your mind and body on breath as it moves in and out of your body.
I'm going to tell you something.
Yes.
I can't do this.
Why? You have a lovely garden.
I do have a lovely garden. The reason being that the older I get, the less mindful I am becoming.
Interesting.
I know I'm supposed to become more mindful. I'm becoming less mindful. I'm finding it harder and harder. My mind is becoming noisier and noisier, and I don't like silence. It's freaking me out.
Wow.
Don't like doing nothing. Don't like resting. Don't like stopping. Don't like it.
You need to look into that. This is the fact, right? People who garden daily have well-being scores 6.6% higher and stress levels 4.2% lower than those who don't garden at all. And I am still, apart from yesterday because it was shit, I am still getting up in the morning and the first thing I do is go out and spend 10 minutes in my garden. I just stand there. Sometimes I pick a few leaves. I look at what the slugs have done and I just observe my space.
What have they normally done?
They've
had a
eaten
barbecue? What do they do?
They've eaten my hostas. They've eaten my hostas.
What's a hosta?
It's a
Oh,
plant.
we had this last week. I still don't
Anyway,
care.
Didn't I say I didn't get last
week?
stand
Still don't
outside
care.
and observe and just enjoy it. And I still do that. And I'm telling you, it's really good for me.
I'm sure it is. And I'm sure it'll be really good for me. But just no. I just
Okay.
can't. This is not, for me, this is not self-care. This is like stressful.
Is it?
Yeah, it's stressful. Yeah, I need something like faster paced.
Okay. I find this very interesting.
It's not that interesting and it's not new information either, is it?
It's not, but when you say it to me, I always find it very interesting.
Why?
Because I'm like, what would happen? What's going to happen if you stop? What happens in the silence? What happens in the mindfulness moment? What happens when you don't have anything to do and anywhere to be and you just stand still?
Stop it.
Yeah, you see?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You're being mean.
Oh my God, that's not mean. It's a basic question.
What happens? It never happens because I always find something to do.
I mean...
Or you just sit and do nothing.
I'm
There's
not-
points where you just sit.
Listen, I'm not a therapist. I'm never going to be a therapist, and I never want to be a
I know,
therapist.
and whatever you're about to say, let's remember you're not my therapist.
But I'm just saying, a therapist would say to you, what happens if you stop? What would happen if you stopped?
And you know what? When a therapist asks me that question,
Yeah.
I shall tell them.
Okay. I mean, I'd like
What happens?
to know
I get
as well.
bored. I can't bear it. I get restless. It's the same old shit. It's the same old shit. But it is not new, but I have noticed it as I'm getting older, it's getting worse. Anyway, this is not a therapy session.
I think mindful gardening would be absolutely amazing for you.
Mindful gardening actually gives me anxiety.
Oh my God.
The thought of it would give me anxiety.
We would make a terrible, terrible lesbian couple living in a commune because you just wouldn't fit in at all. Not at all. I'd be really I'd have to make excuses for you why you weren't picking the courgettes of a morning.
Who said we're going to live in a commune?
I'm just saying.
I don't want to live in a commune.
You wouldn't be very popular
You
there.
know, I actually would. Fuck you, I would. And I'll tell you why I would. Because I would get everyone motivated. I would do like a yoga class in the morning for everybody, or I'd take everyone on a short run. I would make sure everyone was active and healthy. I would aid to everyone's well-being in a different way. I can cook. I'm very happy to cook.
Okay, we just bring you the baskets of veg.
I'll cook a meal. I'm not selfish. I'm allowed to be not mindful. Doesn't make me selfish.
I wouldn't say I am particularly mindful.
You're not.
It's not really my
You're
thing.
not. You're not mindful, but you are. You run at a slightly slower pace, and that's a good thing. I mean that in a good way.
I don't know. We just run as we run, right? Okay, what about this? I want to know your thoughts. The 6-second kiss could be the cure to boosting intimacy in long-term relationships.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's a TikTok trend.
Right.
TikTok users have shared their love of the 6-second kiss rule, a kiss between partners that lasts at least 6 seconds a day. It may sound simple, but experts believe it's the key to a better relationship.
Don't you remember when we did the week of cuddle therapy and we had to start off and we would hug our partner for 1 minute?
Yes.
And it really made a big difference to me and Adam. And I do notice that when we start the day with a hug, and I mean a proper just a hug,
Yeah.
we are definitely more connected and closer. So this is the same thing.
It fosters intimacy, strengthens connection in a straightforward way that doesn't have to involve talking or problem solving. The practice is rooted in relationship science and was first coined by the marriage therapists and authors John and Julie Gottman, founders of the Gottman Institute. They created the love languages.
Yes. Yeah. Are you saying you want to kiss me for 6 seconds?
No,
That's what's going on here.
No, I don't want to. I mean, I like you very much, but I don't want to tongue you for 1 second or 6.
Who said anything about tongues?
I don't want to kiss no, thank you. It's very sweet of you to offer.
I actually wasn't offering.
Hugging for 20 seconds.
I was curious whether you felt that way.
Okay.
Only because you mentioned about the lesbian couple living in a commune. And then suddenly the next thing you're talking about is a 6-second kiss. It was just all roads were leading in one direction.
Well, there is a theme this week. There is a theme because of the TV recommendation. That's why I'm running with the theme.
Which is what?
What, my TV recommendation? Well, I've got 2. One is horrendously depressing and one is amazingly uplifting.
Is one The Tattooist of Auschwitz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
No.
Can I just say?
I have read the book.
It's not a fun watch.
Well, and I have read the book.
Okay.
And I've just finished Baby Reindeer. I just don't think I could take anything else traumatic.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the book because I have a real problem reading Holocaust literature, and it's so graphic.
No.
And it's so upsetting.
No.
And I've done 1 episode of the 6. It's on Sky. Listen, it's incredible. It's an incredible story and it's incredible television. And it is true. And it is about a guy who was in the concentration camp at Auschwitz, and he became one of the tattooists who was inking the identification numbers on fellow prisoners. That was basically how he survived the camp. And it's a love story about a fellow prisoner that he meets in the camp. And it's a true story, I believe. So now it's a 6-parter, but it's heavy. It's heavy. I've done 1 and I just feel like I'm not sure I can do the other 5.
Like I've said, I've read the book. I know the story. It's an amazing story, but no.
So I, to completely flip that, I started watching I Kissed a Girl.
Oh, is this the
Lesbian Love Island?
Yeah. And?
Well, they did the gay one last year with all men.
No.
So I watched that. It was great.
Yeah.
But this one is I Kissed a Girl, not I Kissed a Boy. And it's hosted by Danny Minogue. And it's Lesbian Love Island, but minus the misogyny, minus the men's shady behaviour. All it is a group of women who talk to each other and communicate in a really respectful and nice way. So they'll have conversations like, well, how do you feel about me today? Well, do you know what? I really, really, really like you, but I'm just not really feeling a huge sexual chemistry. And the other girl's like, okay, great. Thanks so much for communicating that.
Great. I'm so pleased you told me that.
And then she'll say something really healthy like, do you know what? Rejection always hurts a bit, but I'm so glad she was honest. And then they move on. It's so refreshing.
It's not going to stay like that.
It's refreshing.
It's not going to stay like that because women tend to argue a lot more, and there's so many nuances that go on when women are together.
Oh, I mean, one look across the pool and the other girl knows what the other girl... I mean...
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
There'll be so much.
And they're very enmeshed very quickly. Within 24 hours, they're coupled up. They call it U-Haul lesbians, as in you have one date and then you book your U-Haul and move in with each other.
Right.
But I'm learning a lot about lesbian culture and phrases and wording, and it's actually fascinating. All these terms I didn't know about.
I watched an amazing film last night, Naiad.
Oh,
it's the story of the Olympic swimmer, Diane Naiad. It is absolutely fantastic about how she had this dream for years and years and years to swim from Cuba to Florida, and it had never been done in open water.
Also a lesbian.
And it stars Jodie Foster and Annette Bening.
Yes.
And it is absolutely wonderful. An amazing film.
Okay, great. Thank you for that recommendation.
What have we got coming up on next week's show, Laura Mishcon?
It is Mental Health Awareness Week. And the theme
Oh, yeah,
for 2024 is
God, that's come around quick.
moving for your mental health.
Love it.
Of course you love it.
I love it.
Totally your
I
bag.
live by it. So you can imagine how that's going to go for next week. Make sure you tune in for that on Monday. If you want to be in touch, hello@theselfcareclub.co.uk. Come find us on all of our socials. All our links are below in our show notes, and we'll be back next week.
Bye-bye.